Hey everyone, welcome to the Not a Lonely Coffee Break podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Maddie.
And I'm Megan. We're a podcast about coffee and work, but make it queer.
Always make it queer.
Always.
Or fun. So, Megan, I have to tell you about some things happening in my life.
Please tell me. Mine is so boring.
Okay, so first of all, I feel like I have to update our listeners a little bit. You are aware of some things happening behind the scenes, but I have not, I don't think, talked about it on the show at least. If you are friends with me, you have heard me talk about this because it's been an ongoing saga. So, Megan, my wife and I have an interesting dilemma that occurs every year around the same time. And that is that our house attracts skunks. Pepe Le Pew, like every year. And they always pop up around the same time. Last year was the first year that we didn't really have anything. But listeners, if you recall, last year I was kind of getting some work done on my house. Well, they have returned. And this year they returned with like a full force.
Wow.
So a few years ago, when we were like catching them and getting them taken care of, I just want to let everyone know we humanely trapped them. In case anyone is concerned, we had caught 6. That was the most that we had caught. We were told but then that like skunks are burrowing animals, so they like dig holes and go underneath your house, your sheds, wherever. But they dig these holes, right? And that burrow could house anywhere from 1 to however big their colony is. So the most we've ever caught is 6.
Wow.
So this year, this occurrence, I have been kind of dealing with them since around Thanksgiving-ish is when it was becoming problematic. They were spraying my dogs. Holes were popping up all over the place. So I was like filling the holes, using my own resources because I was like, I do not want to pay somebody to come out here and deal with this. I just want them to go away. Well, it was not working. It was not working. And it was getting to the point that like they were spraying and like every night and it was just like absorbing into our house.
Oh,
I think our neighbors probably thought
man.
that we just were enjoying ourselves a little too much
With that skunky smell.
with that skunky smell. So we also have discovered as a result of this, so our house has a flaw in it and there is a gap underneath our bathtub.
Oh.
So a skunk keeps burrowing themselves deep enough that they are underneath our bathtub and we can hear them in our house. So
No.
once we heard them, I said, enough is enough. And I called a company to come out and start trapping. So we have been trapping probably since the beginning of February. It may be a few weeks, like maybe second week. I don't remember when it started. I feel like I've been trapping for a while now. As of today, the date of this recording, we have caught 9.
Wow.
9 skunks.
I wish there was
And
something beneficial.
I know that there's at least one more out there and he is taunting us.
Probably.
So I have spotted him in the backyard just chilling next to the trap.
Wow.
Then we heard him the day we caught number 9, we heard him playing around in that gap underneath the tub. All I could say to him at that point was, you got yourself in there. You can get yourself out. Like, that's how annoyed I was with his shenanigans. And then, most recently, my wife spotted him in the front yard, again, just chilling next to the trap. So I think that we're going to have to get really creative to catch this 10th one because he is onto us and he is taunting us.
That's hilarious.
But oh my gosh, it is just like, it's ridiculous how many skunks I have caught. And why are they coming to my house? I live in a residential area.
You don't live in the woods? What?
I don't live in the woods, despite what people may think.
That's wild sauce. So you have Senior Pepe Le Pew just chilling out.
Mm-hmm.
Like a cat, essentially, just chilling out.
I think he parties all night and then comes back in the early morning and he's like, oh, let me go back into my little hole and rest. So I need him to come have his party in the trap that I have set for him.
Well, you have to dress it up. What you have in there? You have any treats?
Yeah, we've got We're using sardines, but I may try
Gross.
some wet cat food next.
I mean, top shelf, right?
Like, this is just it's absurd, and, like, I don't wanna fill the holes while there's still something in there. Like,
Yeah.
go on, get yourself out. There's also a little possum that keeps lurking around,
I think at this
and
point,
he can go too.
you just gotta, maybe bring them into the family, see if you can potty train them.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Come on. Wow, that's wild. Yeah,
9 9 skunks.
I don't know what I would do with 9 skunks. The smell would probably drive me
Oh, it drives us
insane.
insane.
I can't
Insane.
I can't deal with the little scratches. No. No. I burn it down. I'm done.
That's honestly, that's, like, to the point, like, do we just need to burn our house and start over?
I mean, essentially, yeah. That
Oh, it is ridiculous. So now everyone is caught up on the skunk saga of
mhm.
2026.
Yeah, missed opportunity not TikToking all of this because I would have
I know.
totally. I'm off
I
at
know.
TikTok, but I would have followed you.
By the time I thought of it, I was too late into the process, and so I was like, I really needed to start the TikTok journey on day 1 because now it's like now I'm hopefully towards the end, and I don't wanna backtrack and update
Yeah,
everybody
no,
on
absolutely.
TikTok. It wouldn't have the same effect.
It wouldn't.
So
So, going into season 3, listeners, it's going to be Not a Lonely Skunk, and we're going to be talking about skunks.
oh my gosh. Hopefully once we get rid of this group, it does not continue to be an annual occurrence.
I hope so too. For
But
your sake. For listeners' sake, we hope
but if
not.
it
No.
doesn't if it does, I definitely will TikTok that journey.
Dope. Dope. Okay. Well, I mean, honestly, your life is a lot more exciting than mine. Still on the prowl, out there, trying to see where those holes are, where I can fit myself in for a salary.
Fighting the good fight of
Fighting
job
the.
search.
This is what I was made for: is to look for a means to survive.
Yep,
So
yep.
I don't think I've gotten very efficient at it, but I'm still working. And then, yeah, I mean, essentially, that's just my day to day. So thank you for taking on the most of the exciting parts of life right now. I appreciate it because I don't think I could handle it.
You're living vicariously through me.
Yes, yes. So
Maybe
I'll
that's why
appreciate
I'm
the
so
updates.
exhausted because I'm also living for you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Soon I will be working at a job I probably wouldn't like. So we'll see about that.
We're
But
manifesting that for you.
yeah, manifesting. Or I just may become the next billionaire. I don't,
Right?
yeah, no. I don't,
Right?
honestly, I don't want to be a billionaire, so it's fine.
Okay, well, I have another fun journey for you
Okay,
that
let's hear it.
you'll get a kick out of. So, one of my many gigs is that I teach
Right, right.
at the college level. So it's that season where things are starting to get turned in now for grades. And because I teach in the social work department, we do a lot of writing of papers. At least, I know some professors like quizzes and stuff. I don't like quizzes. I don't like exams. Write me a paper. Even though it takes up more time to grade, write a paper.
Just write the freaking paper.
Write the freaking paper. And you have to have sources because a lot of these are like, even if it's like something that you would know a lot of information about, there's still the expectation that like you got this information from somewhere,
You're
right?
in college.
You're in college. You did not just wake up with this information. You got it
Right.
from somewhere. So cite your source in APA format because that's what we as social workers use. So I'm grading this paper from this student. And for this particular assignment, one of the popular studies that gets cited in most papers, because of the topic that it is the study that was done years ago comparing resumes of black sounding names to white sounding names and higher rates and callback rates and things like that. Like it's an actual study that was done.
Hmm.
And there's a scholarly peer reviewed source with that information this year for the first time ever. And I've been teaching this particular course and this particular assignment now for I think this is my 4th time teaching it.
Okay.
So for the first time ever, I have had a student cite that study by a TikTok video. They saw a
Oh.
TikTok content creator talking about how people with black sounding name resumes don't get hired as much as white sounding name resumes. A
Nice.
TikTok video. A TikTok
TikTok video.
video.
That is wild.
TikTok. And yes, my note to the side, first I giggled a little out loud. It really made my day.
Yeah, I'm really
And then
confused
my
by all
note
this.
on the note on the side of it was you know that there's an actual study talking about this. Like it was actually done and there's a scholarly peer reviewed journal that you
Mhm.
could cite right here. And then I also said, but also there is an APA approved way to cite TikTok videos.
Think that is insane. What the what? There is a
Yes.
format to cite TikTok
There is an
videos.
appropriate way to cite social media in APA format, which is
Ooh.
also relevant because I do get a lot of students who also, I have an assignment where they have to talk about social movements, and a lot of them talk about the Me Too movement. And
Mm,
so they reference tweets and Twitter, but they
right.
don't ever cite, they'll quote the tweet, but then they don't actually cite it in APA format. And so I have to refer them to their APA guidelines on how to properly cite tweets.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to include TikTok into that.
Yeah, that's wild sauce. And you'll have to put it in your
Mhm.
orientation PowerPoint.
Well,
Hey guys, BT dubs.
so I told my TA for that class to add, she has a little like reference tip sheet that she shares with them during the term. And so I told her, I said, can you update your tip sheet to include social media? And here's the information. So I sent her kind of, here's where you can find it. Can you include that on your tip sheet so that people know how to cite social media?
Please. Yeah, that is wild sauce. Like they were like, I'm not going to go any deeper than this TikTok. We're going to cite the TikTok,
Mhm.
but not the actual journal
Mhm.
in which the person
Right,
did the
like, I'm
work.
not even
Like,
gonna
that's wild.
confirm that this content creator was accurate in the information that they shared. I'm just gonna take it at face value.
That's too much. Yeah, that's like citing. I mean,
Fact check.
if y'all cited us, I would be honored,
Oh my gosh,
but
do it. But also don't.
don't. You don't need to. I would appreciate the shout out in your PowerPoint, but you really don't need to cite us in your
You don't please
scholarly
don't
thing.
cite us. Find a scholarly peer reviewed journal that talks about this stuff.
Yeah.
But also, in case you are wondering, there is an appropriate way to cite podcasts and YouTube videos.
We'll put that in our description.
We won't. We won't.
We won't. Don't look.
I'm not gonna do your homework for you.
Oh, Lordy. Well,
So
I don't know what to say.
it was a good chuckle, but also I was kind of like, this is where we're at now, right? Because I
I
remember
guess
when we were
so.
in school, at least when I was in school, I remember them saying things like Wikipedia is not a source that you can use. You can, but it doesn't count as one of your sources because it's not
Right.
scholarly peer reviewed. And YouTube videos were also kind of frowned upon.
Mm-hmm.
And now YouTube videos are kind of more in the like appropriate thing, I think, because there's so many more educational type of things out there. And so now it's like, okay, now social media, like this is where people are getting their information. So we've got to find a way to ensure that they're at least citing where they got that information.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. That is, yeah, we're in a new era.
Like
Wake up call.
pretty soon we're gonna be like, here's how you can do a text, a WhatsApp.
What's that? Oh, God, please
I know
no.
there's a way to do phone calls, like, for phone interviews and stuff, but I don't think I've ever had a text reference.
No, that would be
But we're gonna have to
insane.
just come up with an appropriate way to cite everything.
Yeah, I'm officially feeling old because it's
I know.
like back in the day, it was like, don't cite the wiki. And you're like, okay, fine,
Mhm.
I'll just go cite the site that's in the wiki.
Yeah.
But no, they're like, just skip all that. You guys could just cite the videos. It's fine.
And
I'm like, no,
then
it's not.
and then ChatGPT, it's over here making up its own sources. And, like, if you don't do your due diligence and actually fact check it,
I have heard that. Yeah.
you could be just spouting off some random thing that doesn't exist and ChatGPT made it up.
But it's in proper APA format.
But as long as it's in proper APA format,
It's all good. We're
it's
good.
all good. All good.
God.
So
Well, that's a
that's
lot.
been my week.
Yeah. Well, thank you for taking on the burden.
Skunks and TikTok references.
I appreciate the burden. Because with that, like, There's so much going on, it seems, in all our world. We
Oh my gosh,
actually
yes.
got, are you so excited? I'm so excited to announce, Maddie.
Yes.
We got an email from a listener.
What?
People
A
listen to me?
listener.
What? I'm so excited.
A listener. We're so excited, yes.
Yeah,
We could not be
so
more proud of our listener.
yeah, thank you for going past your anxiety because I understand there's a lot of anxiety when it comes to writing emails. But yeah, so today we're going to read this letter. We got permission. Before I go too deep into this, it is anonymous. I'm not going to give out the dirty details, y'all, so don't ask. And then secondly, yeah, we're just going to take this in stride because it's a lot. I read it
Yeah,
and I
we
was
have
like, it's a lot.
yeah, it's a lot. We have changed a little bit of the information just to ensure that this individual stays anonymous. But we are so
Absolutely.
grateful that they sent us this email and told us some things that were going on for them.
Mm-hmm.
Megan, what did it say?
Okay. Just another manic Monday. Great subject.
Mhm.
Okay, so here's a cup of Joe for you. I just wanted to share with you all a situation that happened at work this week that really did not sit well with me. I am a elementary school teacher here in Texas. Majority of my school is pretty conservative. I know about 2 teachers who are more progressive, but because of this, I keep quiet and I don't share my opinions on that topic. I know how they are and how they treat other teachers who think the same way I do. And they're basically casted out for being an advocate of diversity in the LGBTQ community. Yeah, that's a bummer. That's already a toxic workplace.
Mhm.
A lot has happened in this first week back to school. So this is a little bit older. I now have a new teacher partner on my side of the grade who will be working closely with the rest of the year. She is in her late 50s. I go into her room, I say hi. The right to the left when you walk in is a huge cross that catches my eyes. She has it hanging next to the whiteboard. I look around at her decor and I notice she also put up the 10 commandments smack dab in the top middle of her classroom above a smartboard where it's definitely not hard to miss and will be seen. Mind you, per the district's demands, we have had these put up earlier in the year, and the principal said for us to put them down by the door where we would keep our school expectations posted. So she deliberately moved them to a new location. So this week we came back from break, and on the other side of my grade, we got a new student. This student is a female, but looks like a boy. When the parent came to the school, she introduced the student as she. So their homeroom teacher, who is on my team, was using the pronoun she. So at lunch, the teachers on my team are talking about how this student looks like a quote unquote legit boy. I don't think anything about it, and I just sit, listen during my lunch. The next day, we are at lunch with my team, including the new teacher and I. We have been working with my other 2 teammates for the past year and a half and have a good friendship with them, even though they are conservative. Whenever they make any strange comments, I sit and eat my lunch and just move on. This day, the new student's homeroom teacher is asking me what to do in the class because the teacher called out the new student and the class went into a frenzy, saying, quote, "No, she goes by he, he's a boy," end quote. They were respecting the student's pronouns. The teacher told the loudest student, "No, this is her paperwork and it says female, and that is why I am saying she." And the she student then went on to say, "No, he's a boy." So basically, this teacher was asking me what to do in this situation because she did not want to get in trouble. She mentioned that the teacher got fired in Florida just for using names and pronouns that the student wanted to go by, but the parents didn't agree with them. Just as I was opening my mouth to help her with some advice, my new teacher partner boasts out, "If they don't know what hole to put it in and what hole it is for, they are a girl." I was so stunned, and she was laughing and saying, "They are a girl. They're going to be a girl." The other 2 teachers on my team didn't say anything, and we made eyes at each other. The other 2 teachers know that I'm an advocate, and I think they were just as stunned as I was. Later that afternoon, we went back to our classes. I got some advice after this situation and told the homeroom student to avoid pronouns with that student and call them by their name. That way, we are not saying anything quote unquote wrong. That teacher said that is what she'll do. Anyway, that's what we're currently dealing with. Cheers, queers.
Cheers, queers.
Cheers, queers.
Cheers, queer.
Big woof. Good
My
grief.
god.
I
That is so much. First of all, I think before we share our thoughts, I just wanna say, like, thank you so much to whoever sent this in to us, because I know that even just sending something in anonymously and being a teacher, is very scary with how much rhetoric there is right now. So thank you for being brave and reaching out to us with just telling us what's going on with you.
Mhm.
And we are sorry that you are having to navigate that.
Yeah, big wolf. I mean, first thoughts. I'm like, I know that there's lots of laws and regulations that are coming to
Mhm.
educators across this state that's literally putting their hands in knots. Like
Mhm.
you back them into one corner and they literally can't get out because they have to navigate these kids and they have to navigate, what creates the best learning environment and also keeps them safe, right? But a teacher coming out and talking about holes.
That's inappropriate. What if a
What
child
the
had overheard that?
I mean, in a child or even like adults being uncomfortable with you talking about holes and
Also
like
also holes and knowing where to like put things like that, that has nothing to do with a person's gender.
absolutely not.
And I think that's the big disconnect in all of this discussion is people correlate biological sex with gender identity, and they struggle to see like, I don't understand. You were born with these parts, so that means that you're this, but that may not necessarily align. And there's a lot of people who are trans, non-binary, and they don't go through with the affirming surgeries because they don't feel like that connects with them, right? So
Mhm.
it's unique to everybody. So it's inappropriate to be talking about holes with in front of kids anyway, but also it's rooted in your own terrible beliefs and viewpoints on the matter.
Yeah. And secondly, it's not helpful. Whatever
No.
you just said is not helpful.
Mm-mm.
Like you're making a joke, it seems. And
Mhm.
like, you're a teacher. Use your sources. But no,
Cite your source.
cite your source.
And it can't be the Bible because it's not there.
It's not in there. Trust me.
We've
No,
checked.
yeah, and I don't know. I have my opinion. If the child wants to be called something
Mhm.
specific that is not distracting them from their work, if anything, you changing their
Mhm.
pronoun is distracting them and obviously the entire classroom
Mhm.
from
Mhm.
their work because you are neglecting like their whole identity, what they're just trying to live, right?
Mhm. I think let's back up a little bit because I just
Yeah.
wanna make sure I'm on
Sorry,
the same
I'm
page.
heated.
I am too. I just wanna make sure we're on the same page, at least in how I understood what this person was saying. So they have a new student
Mhm.
who has come to the school that the parent used whatever their biological sex was to say, "This is she, this is my daughter," whatever. And then it later was maybe revealed that the child actually does identify as male and uses he pronouns. So the parents aren't necessarily on board with it, but the child still goes by he pronouns. Is that how I'm interpreting it?
It says, when the parent came to the school, she introduced the student as she. So their homeroom teacher, who is on my team, was using the pronoun she. Or, yeah, the sex is a she. He is
But
they
they identify
apply
as
as
male.
he. Mm-hmm.
Is he? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to make sure I had that piece right. Like, was it just that this person had a more masculine presenting gender expression and they weren't sure?
Mm-hmm.
Or has the student actually confirmed that they are in fact trans?
He, right.
Yeah.
So I think from what I gathered is that, yes. So what you said, and that's where the wires got crossed and where this makes this so complex is because the parents did introduce the child as she, but he has been introducing himself to their like
The
student,
peers.
peers, thank you, peers as he. And
Mhm.
so, and that's when the students came and backed him up
Mhm.
because, obviously they're friends with this person. They care about this person,
Mhm.
and their kids, right? So the teacher is kind of stuck. And the teacher herself was like, hey, what do I do? And then the next teacher came in and gave very inappropriate feedback.
Mhm, mhm,
So
mhm,
didn't really help anything, didn't give
mhm.
anything structure. If anything, it made a toxic situation more
I
toxic.
also okay, so the law standpoint, okay, because
Right.
this inappropriate teacher is operating under the laws, right? So the
Mhm.
laws, the way that some of our current laws are, from my understanding, is that yes, we can't any pronouns that are used have to be the ones that are assigned at birth. You cannot use names that are not nicknames. It
Mhm.
has to be the official birth name. If it and then I think there's also some jargon in there about you have to basically notify parents of
Yeah.
basically out students. I could be incorrect on that, but I'm fairly certain that that is part of the jargon in this law. So this teacher is operating on the law as she interprets
Mhm.
it.
Mhm.
However, every school district has chosen to implement that law a little bit differently to maintain the dignity and worth of students because they want to ensure that students trust their teachers. But also, you know what law is still out there that a lot of people are forgetting about?
Which one?
FERPA. And in this letter, this inappropriate teacher was waving around paperwork and showing paperwork to other students. Is
Mhm.
that not a fireable offense for violating FERPA and sharing confidential student information with people that were not that student?
Wow. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. That's wild sauce. And I think that because it comes from like two different points, right? Is like
Mhm.
from the teacher point now pressuring the student, and then also the parent point, right?
Mhm.
It's like, how do we, well, it comes to a point that, like, okay, the teacher who wrote this obviously is in like a rock and a hard place. Like, how can
Yeah.
I, you know,
How can I be an ally while still not
standing
getting
by?
fired?
Yeah. Yeah. Not getting fired
Yeah.
and being like Megan. No. So I think that, I would really love to hear from a parent advocate or a parent on this
Mhm.
point, because it is also comes down to educating what actual trans kids are like, right? Everyone
Mhm.
has this notion that trans children, trans teens up into adulthood are doing XYZ when there's really no evidence of any of it.
Mhm. Everyone's experience is unique.
Yes, absolutely.
Mhm.
Um, and as far as the advice as I have for this teacher, I don't know if I'm qualified for advice, but I do see and I hear your situation where it's definitely toxic.
Mhm.
This person is not helpful in any sort of fashion for you as a colleague to grow,
Mhm.
right? Obviously, this teacher has maybe been working longer than you if she's a bit older than you. So, yeah, you might be looking the guidance, right? And this person didn't bring any to the table. So, I can understand that that is probably extremely frustrating. Um, and then having to stand by and just, look at the
Yeah.
kids that you're with every day
Mhm.
and not be able to do anything.
Yeah, schools are such honestly, schools, they are some of the most toxic workplaces.
Mm,
And they operate on their own set of people who don't have any experience kinda in school systems, I don't think truly understand that they do not operate by the same rules and work expectations as any other workplace. They're kind of in their own league.
mhm.
And then when we put these really tight restrictions on them about how they can talk to their students and how they can help their students, it makes their job so much harder.
Yeah.
Anyone who had any doubts, like, they are not just sitting around and babysitting children.
Mhm.
They're trying to teach them, not indoctrinate them, except for apparently this one teacher who feels like she needs to hang her 10 commandments on full display.
Mhm.
Um, and apparently she needs to talk to them about holes. She's a hole,
Yeah, she's a type of hole.
type of hole. But, like, they don't have time to talk to your kids about the things that people think are worried they're talking to them about.
Yeah.
All they're trying to do is make sure that your kids are safe and getting the education that they need so that they can go to college and know how to write a paper.
Yeah. And the teacher gets to keep their job because
And
your
the
kid
teacher
is
gets to keep
passing.
their job because your kid is passing and pass a test that the state also makes. That's arbitrary. I do think it sounds like the person who wrote this gave the advice to the homeroom teacher, that I think was appropriate advice, just don't use pronouns, use that student's name.
Mhm.
I think you could also talk to the student and kinda come up with an agreement of what that student feels comfortable with, where they also feel safe, because clearly this one teacher is creating a hostile environment even for that student.
Mhm.
So, how can the homeroom teacher be that safety net still for the student? So, just talk with the student and kinda come up with an agreement like, "Hey, I know that you use these pronouns. I don't wanna get either one of us in trouble. So, can you and I come up with some sort of code?" I know a lot of teachers are using last names,
Mm.
instead
Mhm.
of using, like, a dead name that
Mhm.
student might feel some sort of way about, they're using last names, and so they're kinda telling the student, like, "Hey, moving forward, I'm just gonna call you by your last name, just like you call me by my last name,
Mhm.
and then that way you know that I'm still doing everything that I can to support you without losing my
Mhm.
job."
Making it a safe space.
Mhm.
Yeah, because
Mhm.
if the
Mhm.
kids are like they're doing their own thing, right?
Yeah.
They obviously it's not like they plotted
Mhm.
against you, you know?
But also how
So,
courageous of their friends
yes, that
to call their
was
teacher out and be like, "No,
yeah,
they're a
it's pretty
he."
beautiful. Because I
I
mean, at the
do
end of the day, yeah.
Yeah, I do also think, oh, I made an assumption about the parent. We don't know
Mhm.
for sure where the parent sits. It
Right.
is possible that the parent is accepting and they were focusing on safety. I've worked with,
Or
um
disclosure or yeah,
yeah, and they just did it they just wanted to keep their kids safe, so maybe they just were like, "You know what? We're just gonna do this when we're at school, but when you're here at home, whatever." Right?
right.
And then because this is a kid, an elementary kid, they're like, "I'm gonna tell my friends."
Yeah, that's what kids do. They talk
Right.
a lot.
So, yeah, I think, it's possible that the parent is accepting and they just
Yeah.
are going through their own adjustment period and trying to figure out how can I keep my kids safe in a state that
Mhm.
doesn't humanize them at all.
Right, right. No, that's a really good point. So hopefully the next time you're listening, we have a specialist, and subject matter specialist on
Mhm,
this topic
mhm,
because again, I am not a teacher. Um, and there I know that there's so many things y'all are going for.
mhm,
So I would really love Maddie to have somebody who engages with maybe parents of trans
mhm.
kids or works with teachers. I think that'd be a good idea.
Yeah, well, we're gonna jiggle our network a little bit because I think this definitely has more conversation. We had a great chat today. Thank you so much to our listener, who wrote to us. Listeners, you can always write to us, and as you can see, you can stay anonymous. You can tell us what's going on with you. Feel free to ask questions, and if we don't feel like we are equipped to talk about it, we will look for someone to have a guest on that can help us navigate whatever it is that you're going through. So, you can always email us at notalonelycoffeebreak@gmail.com. Or you can send us a note on any of our social media channels. We are on LinkedIn, Threads, Instagram, and you can also find us on Patreon. And then, of course, you can always send us a comment or a note after the show on YouTube or Spotify or Apple. We always check those as well. So don't be afraid to reach out to us with your questions, your thoughts. If you have any words of wisdom or positive thoughts that you would like to share with our brave teacher who wrote to us today, feel free to drop a note in the comments just to uplift this person because it seems like they're having
It's a rough start to their school year.
a rough school year. And so we as a coffee community want to make sure that we're uplifting them and giving them some cheers.
Yes, yes.
So I am out of coffee today though. That is our cue to wrap up. And Megan, any final thoughts that you have?
We love to hear your questions or what you are experiencing while navigating the workplace.
Yes. Thank you all for joining us for Not a Lonely Coffee Break. It was a great episode. Again, we are your hosts. I'm Maddie.
And I'm Megan.
Cheers,
Cheers,
queer.
queers.